Welcome, one and all, to the Holistic Wellbeing Summit Welcome Party. And we are absolutely thrilled to have you join us as we kick off this transformative event. And over the next few days, we'll be diving deep into holistic practices, mindset shifts, and life changing strategies to help you achieve complete mind body wellness and freedom from pain. But before we get started, I want to introduce you to our guest today. And also, I wanted to give you a chance to see our incredible lineup of experts and connect with your fellow attendees. So, welcome everyone, and a really warm welcome to uh, Annie Papazian, Melissa Daly, and Dr. Shabana Anwar. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you so much for being speakers on the Holistic Wellbeing Summit. And I'm really so excited to hear what you have to say in the summit. And I'm going to just throw it at you. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Melissa.
Thank you, Nilofer. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of the summit. I am an integrative mind body health practitioner, and I like to call myself the friendly toxin slayer. And what I mean by that is that chronic illness is largely triggered by two main causes. One of them is the toxic load in our world today, and the other is nutrient deficiencies. And then you combine that with the stress that everybody's living under, and we have this triggering the chronic illness or dis-ease of the body. And so I guide people in lowering the toxic load on their body. And I don't only look at the physical body. I also look at the mental body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body. Because by the time the symptoms show up in the physical body, they've already moved down through the other three bodies. And so we start the healing process in the physical body, and then we go and address the mental toxicity, the voices in our head. 99% of what we say to ourselves every single day is complete BS. The emotional toxicity that society has taught us to stuff down and ignore those emotions and don't feel them, don't release them, just stuff them down. And then spiritual toxicity. And when we release all of that, that's where we get to optimal health. Through that process, we're addressing the nutrient deficiencies with at-home functional medicine lab testing, and we're addressing the stress, the sleep, all of those factors. And in this particular summit, I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of people struggle with, and that's chronic pain. And inviting people to think of pain differently. Just like our symptoms, it's a way of our body talking to us.
I love that. And I especially love your term, toxin slayer. Wow, that's amazing. So thank you so much for that wonderful intro. And I'm really now, after hearing you speak, I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Uh,
Thank you.
Welcome, Annie. I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly, or I just butchered it. I'm so sorry if I did. So, over to you.
Hello, ladies. Happy to be here. So, my name is Ani, and you did not butcher it. You said it perfectly. I'm known as the body pain fixer because for the last 3 decades, I've been creating personalized pain relief plans for my clients. And now I'm excited to share my proven methods with people, with our audience, people just like you that's looking to get out of pain. And I incorporate manual pain relief techniques, functional nutrition, genetic testing, and analysis to create the most personalized pain relief solution that is unique to you because we are all unique. And I'm excited to be sharing at this Holistic Wellbeing Summit some pain relief techniques that you can walk away and use it right away and see results. So I'm excited to be here, looking forward to hearing the other speakers and learning from them. and giving my part of contribution to this great cause.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Ani. And to all our viewers, we this is the welcome party, which is like a kickoff party to the Holistic Wellbeing Summit. And the link to sign up is in the description, and I will again post it in the comments so you guys can also sign up. And now I want to welcome Dr. Shabana Anwar, who is a homeopath. And she is actually my go-to person when anything happens, you know. So she's been like, she's my cousin. We come from a family of doctors, and our grandfather was actually a homeopath, and he practiced Unani medicine, he practiced Ayurveda, and he also did some form of energy healing. And so, Shabana and I and all of us, we always joke, she inherited his homeopathy genes and I inherited his energy healing genes. And, so welcome, Shabana, and please introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, Nilofer. It's nice you have called me here on the summit. Hello, everyone. And I'm Dr. Shabana Anwar, and I'm practicing homeopathy since last almost 25 years. And I don't know whether you all know about homeo or not. If not, then I'll give you a brief intro to it. It's
With Shabana, what I have found is when my kids were small and they got sick, she was like my person. Okay. And I used to live in Saudi Arabia at that point of time. So whenever I traveled with my kids, she would give me all those little bottles to carry with me. For the cold, you take this. For indigestion or colic, this is the remedy, and that's how we kind of played around with. So I'm really excited to have Shabana share her take on pain and some of the common remedies that she's been working with all this while. There is a question about spiritual toxicity. So she asks, what is spiritual toxicity? Do you want to take that, Melissa?
Sure. We are all spiritual beings. And some people haven't yet come into their spirituality. And some people have grown up in a world where they just don't see it at all. And so spiritual toxicity is just where we're not tapping into the soul of our true being. And we're denying that connection in our whole body. We have this interconnectedness from our soul, our mental body, our emotional body, and our physical body. And when we don't have that connection, there is a toxicity there that we need to release so that we can bring that connection in and that person can understand who they truly are in their soul being.
Shabana, do you want to talk about toxicity from a perspective of homeopathy? And I know because I've been using homeopathy for all my life, I could say. But you have like homeopathic drugs like arsenic, which is like a known poison, right? But
right.
in homeopathy, you are actually using arsenic to create a cure. So,
Yeah.
really interested to know what your perspective is.
Yes, yes. Actually, homeopathy, these are small, sweet pills which we give to the patients. So, as you also said, na, it begins from the mind, every illness. What do you mean by disease, right? So, disease means a state of dis-ease, a state of discomfort. So, every disease origins from the mind, any disturbance at that level, and then it manifests into the form of physical ailments. So here in homeo we are using many natural ingredients like common salt. We have a drug named natramur from that, NaCl. Similarly, even poisons, they are dynamized, potentized, and they are formed into a drug substance. So basically, when we give homeo drugs, the drug substance in that dilution is not physically present. It just triggers your immunity, and it gives enhancement to the immunity to fight out the disease. Like if we are using arsenic, so basically the symptoms, which if you take arsenic, it will create a poisonous effect. So homeo means similar, and pathy means pathos, that is suffering. So if a drug substance is able to create that similar suffering into a human being, so that drug substance will also cure that suffering if someone is presenting with those symptoms. I hope you get what I'm meaning to say. Like if arsenic is producing a lot of vomiting, like if you are taking arsenic just by mistake, if someone consumes arsenic in small quantity, it will cause a lot of vomiting, nausea, and all that, right? So if a person comes with similar presentation of symptoms, like a person has got some gastroenteritis and he's coming with a lot of vomiting, so if we give the drug arsenic, it will cure him. That is the concept of homeo. Likes cures likes. Similia similibus curanter. It's a petty which has been found by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, and he was a German. And this petty is almost more than 250 years old. So that is how it works. Even the poisonous products, they are transformed into drug substances, and similar symptoms that particular drug will cure.
Wow. So I was actually just going to ask you, what is arsenic used for? And you actually clarified it. Thanks, Shabana.
It's just
Ani,
one of the symptoms. There are many more to it. Actually, we have a drug picture. So a drug can cover so many things. And basic concept is on individualization of the patient or a person. Like everyone is different, right? You might be having some fears, some other might be having some fears, some other affections. So we have to individualize and then select the correct remedy. If the remedy and the similar symptoms they match, then you get a perfect cure. Even a single dose works like miracle many times.
so, ladies, I'm curious, have you tried homeopathy before?
Yes. When I was in my teen years, I was living in Australia, and our doctor was a homeopathic doctor. And I knew they were a homeopathic doctor. I didn't know what that meant. I just thought of that person as our doctor. And then I moved overseas and went traveling, and I was going to the doctor and asking for the same remedies, and I couldn't get them. And that's when I started to realize that, oh, that was a special kind of doctor. That's what the homeopathic part meant. And I didn't have any homeopathic doctors near me at that time where I was living. And it was really my first venture into the medical system. And I was struggling because they just wanted to give me more prescriptions. And I didn't want prescriptions, I wanted solutions. So,
Ani, I wanted to actually ask you, do you also deal with toxicity in the work that you do with your clients?
Well, yeah, especially when I'm dealing with patients that are in chronic pain, because as you know, with the chronic pain, it's not just where you feel the pain, it's a multifaceted approach to actually get the client the proper solution and long lasting solution. So if you're coming to see me, let's say with knee pain, but sometimes I feel like it's not a structural or muscular issue, then I'm going to go look at ask you questions digestive, if you have any digestive issues, because the knee pain can actually be a reflection of there's a muscle organ connection that the knee pain could be because of digestive issues, constipation issues. And I've seen several clients that I may go and do like a visceral massage, and then all of a sudden go back and check their knee, and the pain just went from 8 to like 2 or 3. And then, yes, addressing the toxicity, whether it would be, okay, you know what, it's appropriate for you to go on maybe 30-day detox, gentle detox, or let's start with lymphatic drainage, open up the lymph pathways, allow your body do what it needs to be done, or maybe start with some castor oil packing. As much as I love science, I also love, as some of my clients say, the voodoo that I do, because they both have place in a healing practices. So whatever I feel like, I may say, you know what, genetic testing is the way for you to go, because we want to find out what's the root cause genetically, how your body reacts to your environment based on your unique genetic makeup. And then it's easier for me to approach what you need, what's going to get you the best results, instead of saying, well, this works for this client, let me try this on you.
So basically, you're getting to the root cause and doing it. Wonderful. One of the questions which I actually wanted to ask each one of you is, like, what actually brought you on this journey? Like, what sparked your passion for holistic health and well-being?
Who would you like to have go first?
Whoever.
Annie, do you want to go?
Sure, I'll go. A lot of times people get into this industry because of their personal journey. And for me, wasn't that at all. For me, I was a former professional athlete. I overcame a variety of injuries. And then I would when I hear people say, oh, my doctor said that pain is normal for your age, or, oh, those were the cards I was dealt with. I just have to learn how to live with this pain. I get pissed off. Like, I would really get pissed off. Like, come on, there are solutions. Or my favorite would be, I've tried everything. And they've tried maybe one or two things. And they're like, I've tried everything. So that's why, if you're familiar with the Gallup strength test, I'm a learner. My number one strength is learner, which means I love learning new approaches, new techniques, new solutions. That's why I started bachelor's in kinesiology, medical massage, functional nutrition, translational nutrigenomics. God knows who's next. What's next? I'll be studying. But, it's like, the solution is out there. And that's why I love working with people that never stop looking for solution. They've been to doctors, to different practitioners. And then when they come to my office, I get so excited to see them. So hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Melissa, how about you?
Well, I just want to say to Annie that there's so many synchronicities in what you've just said and what I often say to people as well, especially when people say that, they write off their symptoms as it's aging, or it's their genetics, or it's their seasonal allergies, and then do nothing. Again, that's societally taught to us. And I also love what you shared about you getting excited when people come to you, because they're still looking for answers. And I like to share with people that when you keep looking for answers, you have hope. And unfortunately, it's those doctors that say you have to just learn to live with this, or it's aging, that shuts down the hope. And when we shut down the hope, we shut down the belief that we can even heal. As long as people have the belief that they can heal, they can keep working on this journey. I love that quote by Henry Ford that says, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. So I always want my clients in that place, as do all of you, that they believe they can, because then they can. And that ties into the hypnotherapy work that I do. That belief is so important. So my story is, again, like you, Annie, it wasn't my personal story. I was in the corporate world, and big fish bought little fish. I was let go. with an hour to clear out my desk and no word of thanks after 24 years of service. And in that moment, I knew I'm going to be doing something that is more of benefit to humanity and the earth. I have no idea what that's going to be. And so I'm open to being guided. And I was first guided into a company that specialized in brain health supplementation. And I thought, well, that's fascinating. We've got so much Alzheimer's and dementia out there. If I could be teaching people how to look after their brain, that's of benefit to society. And it was also for me, wow, I use my brain 24/7 and no one's ever taught me I can do more for my brain. So I started learning all of this. And in that process was learning also about the toxins that get into our brain and then detoxing both the brain and the physical body. And soon after that, my oldest daughter got a concussion in her first grade 12 soccer game of the season. And she'd been using that brain supplement, the benefits of which were very similar to many of the issues that people with concussions struggle with. And I'd been working with physiotherapists, introducing this to them as something that might be helpful to them and their clients who were struggling with concussions as well. Because I live in a ski town, and in the summer, it's a downhill biking town. So we have a lot of concussion. 2 months later, I was driving to Vancouver and I got a phone call from the high school that my younger daughter in grade 8 had a suspected concussion from grade 8 gym class.
Wow.
And in that moment, I looked out my windshield, across the water, at the horizon, up at the heavens, and said, really? This is how you show me my plan? Stop taking out my children. And I started guiding both of them on their healing journey because I wasn't working full time. And I realized people needed more support in their healing journey. And soon after, I was asked to work in a holistic clinic that was opening because a lot of people knew our story and it was a small town and they were asking for my help. And so I was organically helping people anyway. And then I couldn't get insurance because I didn't have any certification. So then I decided, I love doing this. There's such a need for this. I need to go back to school to get a certification. And that's where I started at health coaching school. And I love that from the moment I got there. And I was like, wow, I'm in my 40s and I don't know this about my own body. How many other people out there who have, I have a commerce degree, who have a family and a career and they've been raising their children also don't know these things. And if they just knew these small little tweaks you could make in your everyday life, you would make different choices and therefore have better health. And so I went down this path, and then I learned about integrative health and the functional medicine lab testing. So I went down that path, and I think, Annie, like you, learner is probably my number one on the Gallup testing. From there, I realized I have all of these tools to help people address the physical body. And many people are having great success as a result. Some people have all the intention of the world in following my wellness protocol, and they get stuck. Why are they getting stuck? They're getting stuck because of unconscious programming that they're still running from when they were a young child. And that's when I started learning NLP and timeline therapy and hypnotherapy and the coaching tools of the unconscious mind so that we could remove those patterns that are no longer serving and create new patterns, new neurology, because our brain is so powerful, and rewire that for people in order to allow them to break through where they were getting stuck and become the person they're truly supposed to be. And who knows what's next? I absolutely love this work and love guiding my clients on their healing journey.
I love that story. I love that story.
And
Shabana,
both my
what's your
daughters did
story?
recover fully. I always, I need to
Did
say
they
that so people aren't worrying about them. They did both recover fully, which is wonderful.
Fantastic. I have a story about concussion. I fell off a bike and, I got concussion. And guess what helped me? Shabana, Arnica.
Yes.
I mean, she
Beautiful.
told me you need to take Arnica for the next 6 months. And I think I probably took it for a month and I was totally fine. But Shabana has an interesting story about the wellness journey as well. So, what's your story, Shabana?
Actually, as Nilofer said, we are all from a family of doctors. My grandfather, my Nilofer's father, my aunt, everyone, my mother, everyone. So right from childhood, I had been seeing and avoiding injections. That was most painful and fearful for me. Whenever my dad came, "Arey, I have to prick you now. And I used to run away and hide in a cupboard somewhere so he doesn't find me. So that was a very painful thing, which I felt there should be something else, something more gentle, something more nice for the kids and even other human beings. So I found out that this homeopathy is wonderful. Just small sugar pills, and you can give to anyone, even a small baby in old age, even for pain relief. It's very good because there are no side effects, absolutely. So when people are taking painkillers, even cancer medicines, so many other treatments long term, where there is a very big risk to your kidneys, your liver, your body, the side effects of all these toxic drugs. So homeo works wonderfully. It goes wonderfully for cancer patients also as a palliative long-term treatment. And even it is based on the psyche and the mind. As you know, all diseases, they are mentally related. Like you said, you should have hope, right? Till you are alive, you should have hope. You can't say anyone can, oh, just let it go, now you are about to die. It's not that, right? Even for diabetes, such a common problem these days all over the world. So why people are taking so much anti-diabetic drugs, then they're having side effects on the liver and kidneys everywhere, and then those insulin pricks. So homeo medicines, they work wonderfully for diabetes also. So that is what the childhood trauma which I went through for injections. Maybe that's why I selected homeopathy. And every time I wanted to become a doctor. So this was nothing better than anything else.
So, what are some of the myths that you can dispel about holistic well-being? Because nowadays we find that everyone is holistic and is like the new word, and everybody wants, I want organic, I want holistic, but there are a lot of myths also which are attached to that. What are some of the myths that you have encountered in your journey? Melissa?
Well, I'll actually give some of my own that I had in my own head that I soon realized was very, very wrong. I knew about Chinese traditional medicine and I knew about Ayurvedic medicine. But in my own head, because of the programming we get through the media, I discounted them as not being up to par with modern medicine and a doctor in a white coat. And when I got into health coaching and I actually started studying aspects, not fully, of Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese traditional medicine, I realized it's all based on everything Mother Nature gave us. And Ayurvedic medicine is 6,000 years old. Traditional Chinese medicine is 3,000 to 5,000 years old. All of this experience of all of these years. And I realized how much more is within those forms of medicine that has been squashed and pushed down by a money-making machine of big pharma. And then I started learning about how the naturopaths and the chiropractic doctors were all pushed down in the early 1900s again by the Rockefeller family, who were investing in big pharma. And it was all a money-making machine. And when we look into the actual science behind all of this, that these are incredibly powerful forms of medicine using plant-based medicines, and to Shavana's point, without the side effects that require that you then need another drug for that side effect and another drug for that side effect. And before long, people are on 8 and 10 different drugs.
And one very big myth which goes with holistic medicine or holistic healing is it takes too long. And I'm sure each one of you has at least 100 stories about how one little thing and that thing was gone, right?
Yes. And I'm also going to say, because I do hear that from my clients, that they think, 6 months, if I say I'm going to put you on a wellness plan, we're going to work together for 6 months. And to them, that sounds like such a long time. And I ask them, how long have you been struggling with this? It takes time for dis-ease to build in the body with one symptom, and it's a very small symptom that we probably ignore. And then over time, there's more symptoms and then more symptoms until finally someone's had enough and they start looking for solutions. That doesn't happen overnight. That's always taken more than 6 months. And so that's a new perspective for them to think about. Just as I completely had my perspective changed around what I thought about traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, and all the credit in the world to our acute medical care. That serves a purpose and is excellent. And to all the doctors out there that are doing their very best based on the training they have to be helping their patients. I just think there's a beautiful opportunity now to be blending Eastern medicine and Western medicine, and for people to be able to use different aspects of all that's available to them, because there's so much that is available in the healing realm.
Absolutely, absolutely. What are some of the myths that you come across, Shabana?
Actually, for homeo, we do drug dynamization. The more the diluted, the more stronger the drug is. That is the concept. So many times people feel what you're giving is just plain alcohol, and it's not going to work. You are just treating the psyche of the patient. That is what they feel like. And another thing, like it will take a very long time to get cured. Homeopathy means it's slow to act. So it's a very big myth over here in India and everywhere else also. Those who are not aware of the benefits and the effectiveness of the drug. Like if the symptoms match and if you are able to tap the simillimum, a single dose will do miracles. It will just cure like anything. Actually, a few years back, I treated one client of mine. It was a small baby around 8 to 10 years old, and completely filled with eruptions everywhere, even on the scalp and everywhere. And the mother was very much worried. So I took her symptoms and everything, and a single dose of a drug named Pulsatilla I gave her, and it disappeared forever. After that, it never appeared. And it was just a miraculous cure. And so many other cases, just this is just one of them.
Yeah,
So
I have one of those
it
miracle
will take
cures
a
as
lot
well.
of time. That is
Like,
a myth.
my son, my younger one, used to suffer from childhood asthma. And I remember once his asthma was really aggravated, and none of the things were really working, even so much so that he was getting the inhaled steroids. And then I called up Shabana and I said, okay, now you need to tell me. And she gave me the name of a drug. I went and got it, one dose, and it was gone.
Oh.
It works wonders. It works wonders. And it's
Annie,
very simple.
What are some, sorry, I interrupted, but Annie, what are some of the myths that you kind of come across in your journey with your clients?
One of the biggest myths is, oh, if it's in my genetics, that there is nothing I can do about it. And and I love when people say that, because it's like it gets my juices going. There are companies that test for genes if you have a family of genetic predispositions. Let's say every female in your family had cancer. I would say go to a specific genetic company that tests for it. The genetics that I test for, it's low penetrance genes, meaning even if you have the gene, and genes like some doctors will take, let's say, ApoE gene or MTHFR gene and build their whole business around that one gene testing. Like ApoE, if you can contribute to Alzheimer's, if you have, let's say, E2, E4, E3, E4, or E4, E4 genetic variants, it could be the higher potential of having these conditions. But one of the largest things to keep in mind is genetic testing. It's an information. It's a foundational information. It's not your destination. It's not your destiny to, oh, if you have that gene, then this is going to happen. You have to give opportunity for those genes to express themselves. That's like the biggest myth of, oh, I have the gene, then I'm going to get this. That's one of the reasons when I analyze clients' genetic report, I always tell them, do not Google it. Because once you Google it, then it's like, oh my God, this is going to cause a disease. And this is like, I'm going to get cancer. I'm like, do not Google it. You know, you have these genetic potentials. Let's make these lifestyle changes so those genes will never express themselves. Or if they've turned on, what can we do to turn them off? Because we can do that. And that's why I love, you know, in a holistic well-being summit is sharing some information, some strategies that people, our audience, can walk away with not only actionable steps, but also they can walk away with understanding and beliefs that I'm in charge of my own health. And I have the strategies, the resources, or where to go to, the person to go to, and ask the right questions. That's the biggest thing. A lot of times clients don't know what questions to ask to their doctors. Sometimes my clients call me and say, I have an appointment with my doctor. Based on what I've been seeing you, what can I ask them? And I'm like, okay, you have to ask this questions. I need you to ask them to run this test. Oh, my doctor says I don't need it. You're the patient. You're paying for insurance. Ask them to run these tests. If they want, then I'll run it for you. You know, like I'll order it for you. But just, you know, be the person that never says no to the knowledge and takes control of your own health. That's it. Be your own health advocate.
I love it. I love it. And especially, you know, coming from a country like India, where we are discouraged from asking the doctor questions. I mean, if you ask a doctor questions, they get upset over the questions that you ask.
I just had that same conversation with my husband yesterday. So it's not just India.
So it seems to be like a common thread.
Yes.
I have a few questions, which is like, do we use nutrition supplements to restore memory losses? Anybody wants to take that? Addressing memory loss?
No, you can. Melissa, you take.
I was just going to say that there is certainly a lot of research out there that shows there is benefit to additional supplementation for the brain, as I was talking about when I first got into that out of the corporate world. In terms of our entire body, not just the brain, when our body is out of balance, that's when we start to get dis-ease of the body or brain. And nutrient deficiency is a problem, as I mentioned earlier on. We have nutrient depleted soil systems. And therefore, supplementation for the brain, for the entire body, can be necessary. And we can run lab testing to see what are your mineral levels, what are your vitamin levels. We burn through those when we're stressed out. And if we're not replenishing them, then we get out of balance. And that's when disease can set in. And so, yes, using nutritional supplements for the body and the brain is needed in today's world and very beneficial.
Fabulous. Let me ask a different question. You know, if someone is just starting off on their journey of holistic well-being or holistic wellness, what is one simple habit or mindset shift that you would recommend that they start with?
Positive,
Shabana, you want to take?
positive thinking. You have to start with positivity and acceptance that you're going to get well. That is the basic what I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, Melissa, you mentioned earlier that you're an NLP practitioner. So am I. I'm a master practitioner in NLP. And I don't actively use it with my clients unless I feel there is a need to change that mindset. But one of the biggest things is people are used to saying what they don't want without knowing that your brain cannot understand the when you say I don't want, because all your brain hears is what comes after when you say you don't want. So you always want to say what you want. When my clients, I see the clients, especially first time in my office, I know they're there to see me for with pain, whatever pain, let's say neck pain. But my question to them is, what is that pain preventing you from doing? Because that's what I want to be my concentration. Because if you come to see me and your pain is 10 from scale 1 to 10, yes, of course, you want that pain to go down or to disappear. But when your pain is 10, you're very motivated to see me, to do the stuff that I tell you to do until your pain goes down to 2, 3, because you can handle 2, 3 pain. Well, when your pain goes down to 2, 3, so does your motivation. But if your goal of not having that neck pain that's preventing you from going out and throwing a ball to your kid or to picking up your grandchild, or you're going to Europe and you want to be able to do all the fun stuff, that motivation will never go away until I get you to zero pain. So that's the mindset. And as a practitioner, clients don't know. It's almost like we're tricking them. I know, I said it, we're tricking them. But whatever gets me to get you to the state that you can do whatever you want to do, I'm happy. And sometimes I tell the clients, and I love earlier, we were talking about how fast am I going to see results? I don't know. I've had clients that with one session, I've never saw them again because their pain was gone. But my favorite thing is, we're not Amazon. I can deliver it to you tomorrow. A body, it's a process. Healing, it's a process. It takes its time. Sometimes it's layers, like peeling an onion. So be patient. And like Melissa mentioned, you didn't came here, it didn't appear overnight. It's years of accumulation of the stuff you did to your body. And now it says, I can't handle anymore. So.
Yeah, and also what I have found is that even if some people get relief in that one thing, like it's almost like they can't believe that it's going to last, and that belief actually recreates that pain again. So for example, if someone has suffered from headache for years and then they come and see you and then it's gone in 15 minutes, they are like still searching for the headache. Where did the headache go? And oh my god, why am I feeling so different? So it's like a lot of people, they cannot imagine a life without having that pain condition in their life. Well, I want to actually just take a moment to tell our audience about, all the amazing stuff that we have coming up on the summit. So we have some of the topics that, our speakers are going to cover are, Pradeep Mukherjee is going to talk about well-being through the grace of God. Elena Kamburova is going to talk about your DNA is not your destiny. So, I mean, we were just talking about genes, and so it's like, she's talking about this in a different perspective. Nirmala Raju is going to talk about holistic well-being through embodiment and vibrational alignment. And obviously, Melissa is, I love your topic, pain serves a purpose, so I can't wait to dive deep into it. Gary Bates is going to talk about how to manage your pain from your living room. Jody Jeline is going to talk about heal your emotions, heal your body. And I know that she does a lot of work around gut health and bloating. And, this is like such a common thing that a lot of people are facing. And so that's another interview that I'm really looking forward to. Tiffany Cano is going to talk about, are your blind spots sabotaging your health? Tammy Vincent is going to talk about ditch the pharma, aid with oils and a holistic lifestyle. And of course, Ani Papazian is going to talk about empowering your journey to pain free living. Then we have Dr. Jose van den Acker, who is going to talk about helping you restore the balance of body, mind, and spirit, and connecting you as a spiritual being at the center of your cross. And Dr. Shabana Anwar is going to talk about homeopathy, a gentle mode of healing. And I'm also going to pitch in my little best, and I'm going to, talk about pain free in 5 minutes. So these are some of the brilliant sessions that we have coming up. And just from this conversation today, I'm like, this was like a trailer, and I can't wait to dive into a conversation with each one of you. And as you were talking, I had all these questions popping in my mind, and I'm like, do I ask them now? Do I ask them when we do the actual interview? So I kind of like held myself back, and I have my list of questions to ask. Is there anything that you want to add to our conversation, and maybe give a little teaser of what we're going to talk about?
Well, I'll start since I'm so excited to, like I said, if you're listening now or if you're listening this recording afterwards and you haven't registered yet, what are you waiting for? Because I'm personally excited not only to share unique, the weirdest techniques, because they are weird, but they work amazing, to share with you, that you can go and do it yourself, teach to your friends and family members. And but also here's the speakers, the subjects that you said. I'm like so excited. If I don't get to listen it, live, at least I can like hopefully watch it afterwards to learn from all these amazing presenters. So thanks for organizing this, Nilofar.
Yeah, and I love that our speakers are from all around the world. We have speakers from Australia, we have speakers from Canada, from the US, we have speakers from Europe, from India, from the Middle East. So, like, really, this is the first time that I have so many speakers from Australia. Normally it's all North America, which takes away the prize, but this time I'm so excited to have everyone. Again, the link to sign up for the summit is in the description, and let me also just paste it in the comments. So in case you can't find it in the description, you can just look at the comments and find it. And we would love to have you. And of course, you can watch the interviews live. All the interviews are live, and you can also, in case you miss some of them, catch the replay. So is there any last thing that you ladies want to leave our listeners with?
I just want to share that these summits do bring together such a breadth and wealth of knowledge and expertise in a very short amount of time for people. And so if you are suffering with any kind of dis-ease of the body, or you know somebody who is, that sign up for this, because you will learn so much. You will connect with one or two of the speakers. And in just doing that, it gives you hope beyond what you have right now. It gives you hope because you've realized there's all of these things that you haven't yet tried, that you can try, and that will lead, each step will lead you on your healing journey. As Annie said, it is a process. There is no magic pill. Having all of these resources in one place for you gives you the hope. The power of our human body to heal is incredible. We just need to bring it back into balance and make sure that it's got the nutritional needs in order for it to have the energy to be able to heal.
Thank you for saying that, Melissa. You really shared the crux of the summit. That's what I love about the summits, because we get to hear such different perspectives and such amazing wisdom. And the best part is from the comfort of our homes, right?
Exactly.
Like, I used to live in Saudi Arabia many years ago, and when I moved there, and we didn't have the internet at that point of time, and I would feel so isolated, and I used to have these dreams, I wish I could be connected to everyone, and I wish I could sit at home and learn everything I want to learn, and I wish I could sit at home and teach everything that I would like to teach. And once the internet came, I realized that that was possible, and I've been putting together these summits. Now I started in 2011, so it's been, I would say, how many, 23 years. Anyway, my brain is all thing, but it's been many years, and so I love doing this. I love connecting with people, and who like, you are in North America, Annie is in Australia, Shabana is in India, I'm here in Abu Dhabi, so we are like from all over the world sitting in one place and sharing, having fun, having a conversation. So please join us. And we begin tomorrow, and we have an amazing lineup of speakers. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us, everyone who is watching us live, everyone who is going to watch the replay. Thank you everyone, and thank you Melissa, Annie, and Shabana for taking out time for this party and this brilliant conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Nilofer.
much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.